What's up guys, my name is Abraham Sandwich and today we're jumping into my aggressive Netrunner build. So when I originally thought about creating a Netrunner, I knew that my goal for the character was to beat missions without ever entering rooms. I wanted to be able to sit back, hack through cameras, and clear rooms so I could just walk in, do what I need to do, and dip. And I can confidently say I have achieved it. Now, I stayed away from the Netrunner build for quite a while because I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of interfaces that I have to deal with. I'd rather just immerse myself in a game, and that's how come my Gunslinger character is still probably my favorite. However, this one is extremely broken and extremely good. I was shocked at how easy it was to kill a bunch of dudes without ever being touched. Again, everything I'm going to be showcasing today is on the hardest difficulty, so you get the idea of how much damage this thing can do and how well it survives. After playing with this build for a while, I started to realize the potential it had to be a full combat, aggressive Netrunner. Not only can I sit on the outside of a building and kill everybody without ever entering it, but I can also run through enemy-filled areas. It's so much fun being able to jump, float around, quick hack people, and demolish everything. And I've had a blast playing around with it. So let's move on to the attributes now. For this build, I knew that I wanted to be able to obviously do intelligence for the quick hacking, but also I knew that because I wanted to stay outside of a building, I wanted to shoot through walls mostly. That meant I had to go down the engineering tree for the tech weapon buffs. But also, if you haven't guessed already, I love crafting in games, so I'm going to go down the crafting tree. Next, I dipped into cool, maxed that out because I wanted to take advantage of not only stealth, but the cold blood tree, because there are a bunch of perks that help with quick hacking. But also, I wanted to dabble a little bit into poison, which is kind of a weird thing, but it did make this kind of fun and interesting. We'll get on to that in a second. With my remaining attributes, I put them all into reflexes purely because I wanted the speed buff that comes with the reflex tree when you increase it. Also because my main guns ended up being assault rifles and handguns, I thought it wasn't a bad idea to put a couple more points in here. Again, if you didn't really want to be the stealthy character and dabble into ninjutsu, I would say maybe putting more stuff into reflexes would be a really solid choice. Getting your speed buff and your crit chance up would be really helpful. Also, you could potentially do blades instead of stealth. Now let's dive into the key perks that make this build work. Starting off with the intelligence tree, I would say under breach protocol, the most important ones are the ones that buff mass vulnerability. Mass vulnerability reduces resistances by 30%. It affects not only physical with this perk, but any resistances they have, and also allows your quick hacks to do more damage. Mass vulnerability allows you to kill people that are way above your level way easier. It's super helpful. For example, whenever I'm using the short circuit quick hack, on average I tend to get between 10 to 15,000 damage. However, with mass vulnerability, that gets closer to 20 to 25,000 damage. It not only increases the damage it's outputting, but allows it to input immediately. As you can see with this footage, right as soon as I click the quick hack, they're gone. Mass vulnerability is so valuable to this build. Now, under the quick hacking tree, this is where things get fun. For me, the most important ones are the ones that reduce the cooldown of your quick hacks and increase the damage output. So, Bloodwear increases the damage of all quick hacks by 30%, that does a lot. This one increases it by 100% for unaware targets, further dipping into my stealth side of this build. And lastly, under critical error, allows your quick hacks to do crits. Daisy Chain is also very valuable, reducing the cooldowns of your quick hacks every time you get a kill. Very helpful. Now, in the cool tree, I just wanted more movement speed. Also, I wanted anything that could help me do more damage when I'm not seen that isn't tied to a gun. So I didn't put any like sniper that does headshot damage or anything like that. I just got the crit chance increase and the damage to human enemies, because let's be real, most of the enemies are human. I've also been playing around with poison, so getting neurotoxin from the shadows and hasten the inevitable. I did the poison tree purely because of my guns of choice and also the contagion quick hack. Under the cold blood tree, obviously I got the max of cold blood here, but I also did frosty synapsis, allowing the quick hacks to cool down faster, as well as quick transfer, allowing them to upload faster per stack I have. And then I invested the points to increase the cold blood stacks, and when I have a max stack of cold blood, it does crazy things to my quick hack cooldowns. It's really cool. And because I have it maxed out, getting blood swell, super handy. Even though I don't have a perk point here, the next one I get is literally going to go into Merciless because it's going to increase my crit chance and crit damage. However, as you'll see, this character is doing plenty of damage to not even need this, but it will be helpful on maybe the higher tier enemies, but Merciless is definitely a must for me once I get that extra perk point for this character. Now under technical ability, I did what I always do, which is just the ability to craft everything for cheaper. I also went here because I do have a couple iconic guns that are crafted and I wanted the extra damage on top. Under engineering, however, I wanted everything that increased the damage output of tech guns, because that's all I'm focusing on is just tech guns. I think the ones that help the most are the ones that reduce the time to do a fully charged shot. It's really helpful to charge it up fast and let it out sooner, that way you don't take as much damage. This is all pretty straightforward, I'm sure you get the point. And again, with reflexes, I just wanted the movement speed mostly, so that's what I did, but I also took advantage of the damage increase for pistols, because I ended up using pistols most of the time. So now let's dive into my guns of choice. First off is the M76E Omaha. Now, the reason I went with this over Lizzie, which Lizzie is the iconic variation, which is a very, very good gun. The reason I went with this one was first because I've played with Lizzie with literally every character I've ever built because it's such a good gun. I cannot praise this gun enough. But I wanted to go with this because I wanted to focus chemical damage, taking advantage of the poison within the cool tree. When buying this gun from a vendor, you can cycle the vendor to get different damage types, and I cycled him until he had a chemical damage one, which allows me to tap into the chemical stuff. This gun also partners really well with Widowmaker, and if you've seen any of my other builds, you know Widowmaker is another one of my favorites. This one also has chemical damage, which is really nice. Because Widowmaker fires 6 shots, it has a really, really good chance of applying poison to people. And because of the perks I have, whenever anybody's poisoned, they will be dealt not only more damage, they will also be slowed down and weakened, which is really helpful. Widowmaker's a must-have in my book. Next is Breakthrough. This is an iconic crafting spec that you get after doing a suspected organized crime activity. Again, this is a tech sniper, allowing me to tap into the idea of me just shooting through walls, staying at a distance. Breakthrough is just really nice if I don't want to get too close. Lastly, of course, is Johnny's pistol. Now, the gun doesn't say it on the description, but this is kind of a tech variation. This gun still allows you to shoot through walls, plus it's a lot of fun to use. Now, let's dive into what I think is the most important part of this character, Cyberwear. The main ones are going to be these top 3 right here. These 3 can be purchased at a Ripper Dock in Pacifica. These 2 on the outside really help it so that your RAM usage never goes away. I always have enough RAM to just continue to hit people with quick hacks. And the visual Cortex increases crit damage by 30%. You have to have quite a high level in intelligence to get these 3, but they're a must-have in my book. Next one I really like is Feedback Circuit. Because I'm using tech weapons, whenever I release a fully charged tech weapon, it restores 10% of my health. Super helpful, really nice to have. I think the one that made this character the most fun for me to play was the Fortified Ankles. This allows you to hover in the air when you sight in. Now the Fortified Ankles can only be purchased from Fingers the Ripper Doc, so if you punched him, you can't buy them anymore. So do not punch Fingers. However, if you do make that mistake and you are on PC, there are mods that can help fix that. Lastly, the most important one is the Cyber Deck. I went through and tried all the legendary cyber decks, and this ended up being my favorite, purely because of the second line of text. Offensive quick hacks can be uploaded to 3 targets within a 6-meter radius. Normally, if I were to hit someone with a short circuit, it would just kill the person I targeted. However, if they're in a cluster of up to 3 people, it has a chance of branching to all 3 of those people. This is super important because a lot of situations you'll come across, you'll have 2 people talking to each other face to face, and you'll allow then to hit one of the guys and it'll kill both of them without either of them being able to alert the rest of their crew. It helps take care of dudes faster and stealthily. This cyber deck also increases the damage dealt by 30%, which to me is a really big deal. I of course have taken my time and I have the max level of every quick hack in the game, and I've tested all of them out, and my personal favorites are these 6 right here. It is System Reset, Short Circuit, Ping, Suicide, Synapsis Burnout, and Contagion. One quick thing to mention, the last one you place in your cyber deck is the one that's going to be at the top of your list when you go to quick hack someone. Because I put Short Circuit at the top, I don't even have to wait for this menu to pop up. I can just hit people with it without even seeing. As you can see, I was able to activate it before the menu actually showed up, allowing me to quickly hit people and just keep running. Again, because of the cooldowns and everything, after this quick hack kills 2 people, because it's spreading because of my cyber deck, it allows me to instantly hit 2 more people, instantly cooling it back down. It's amazing. As you can see here, I'm going to go in, I'm going to hit these 2 dudes, and right after they're done being killed, it'll be instantly cooled down so I can hit him. Another quick hack I want to highlight is suicide, because a lot of times you'll come across bad guys that maybe just have a really high health cap that are the quote-unquote boss of the round. Suicide is a guaranteed kill, so no matter how much health they have, if you hit them with a suicide, they're gone. I also chose Contagion because I wanted to be able to hit people with Contagion, put poison on them, and then start shooting with my guns, which allows my poison damage to deal double damage because of the poison within the cool tree. I just said poison a lot. I think ping is also very valuable. That way you don't have to tag any of your enemies. You can just ping them all and just know where they are, move through buildings quick. One really handy thing about the legendary variation of ping is it allows you to quick hack devices and cameras through walls. So it further helps that idea that I can stand on the outside of a building, hack a camera after I've pinged a bunch of dudes, and look through the building and figure out what I need to do, maybe if there's other entrances, or I can just start hacking and killing people from the outside. I also like to use system reset if I'm trying to stay stealthy and I don't want to raise any alarms, because it silently takes out people. And of course, Synapsis Burnout, it just kills people. It's good. Some of the ones that are really fun to play around with is Detonate Grenade and Cyber Psychosis. In my testing with these are more just to goof around with. I wouldn't say they're actually the best to use in most situations. And finally, let's dive into the clothing and the mods that I'm running. I decided to go for the Netrunner suit because I'm a Netrunner, and I got the legendary variation that you can find in the open world, and I just went with the Armadillo mod. I also grabbed Placide's jacket. If you don't know how to get it, I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil anything. But I got his jacket, and I like the look of it. It's kind of cool. But I went with the Armadillo there as well. For the pants, I went for the anti-piercing tactical media cargo pants. Gosh, that's a lot to say. Again, Armadillo. That's an absolute must in my opinion. These, again, are a legendary piece of clothing you can just find in the open world. And lastly, I went for zero drag on my shoes. These shoes, to be honest, I have no clue where I found them, but I like them a lot, so that's why I'm using them. This net running suit can be found in the open world. It is something you just have to go find. I'll put a link in the description of all the legendary armors you can find in the open world. Just be aware if it's not legendary yet, make sure you level up some more and wait till it is legendary. Also make sure you try to get the max slots, it's pretty nice. With the media cargo pants, again, this is an open world item, so check out the link in the description. For facewear, I went for this BD wreath. It doesn't have any mod slots, but it just decreases the upload time, which is really what I wanted. I wanted to be very aggressive with my quick hacks and very fast with them. This BD wreath is a crafting spec that can be purchased from the merchant Jinguji, which is on the west side of the city center. I don't run anything on my head, that's just a preference thing, but if you want to, I would probably run an Armadillo mod. If you're wondering how I have so many of these Armadillo mods, there's actually crafting specs that you can find around the world. If you're looking for a location, here's a guaranteed spot. Through a bunch of conversations with some of you guys, I've found out the crafting spec actually scales with your technical ability. Once your crafting tree reaches level 18, no matter what level you got the crafting spec at, it'll be the legendary variation. So if you find a crafting spec, no matter what level it is, just grab it. Alright, well that pretty much wraps up this build. If you have any further questions or want to discuss some things in the comments, I'll be down below paying attention, commenting back and forth with you guys. If you'd like to check out any of my other builds, I'll put links in the description so you can check those out. Thanks so much for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.